The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Good afternoon, traders. I've been saying good morning for so many days in a row now. Good afternoon, traders. Welcome out to the Tradespoon live trading room, stocks and options. Me llamo Scott, and I will be your host. Good afternoon, Mark. Good to see you. Good afternoon, Randall. It's light. To be fair, you'll hear me sometimes be like, oh, we don't have our numbers, and it's a good market. Like in a good market, you think everyone wants to talk about it. In a bad market, I get it. We get some head in the sand mentalities, unfortunately, right? Where we're, out of sight, out of mind. I think this is exactly when we want to dive in, roll up our sleeves. Let's figure it out, right? There's opportunity waiting. Is it a hard time to trade? Yeah. So what do? Trade less, trade smaller, trade more balanced. There's plenty we can do. Be ready to hedge, manage differently. Plenty we can do. Don't let yourself get frustrated. If you are frustrated, immediately ask why. What's frustrating you? And then address it. Right? What is it that's frustrating you? Have a conversation about it. Is it market conditions? Well, most of the time, the frustration is losing money. Let's be honest, right? That's most of the time the frustration. So then the question is why? What led to it? If you have been around for a little bit, back in early to mid-August, I said this market is increasingly moving into what I would consider to be an easier to overtrade. Part of assessing market conditions is recognizing how a market trades. And in May and June, July, I was like, it's hard to overtrade. Everything's good. Conditions are good. Everything's coming up the way it's supposed to. But as those conditions deteriorate, the more the conditions deteriorate, the harder it is to trade. And then that's where you find yourselves. Okay, well, let's keep going. This is me trading for a while, teaching for a while. The years just keep tacking on. These are the disclosures. Take a look, take a screenshot. Bottom line, be careful out there. Okay, let's hit it. Okay, so where are we? Interesting day. We opened slightly positive, sold off. Then we rallied, then we sold off. And now, the Dow even the better. Started slightly green, went red, went green, went red. Now it's just right at zero. The NASDAQ down a third. Good news, NASDAQ up 1%. What have we been saying about the NASDAQ? The prospects and probability of us having a bullish October, November, December, right? That we, because we are in a bull market. They from a technical standpoint. However, we're in a consolidation, and possibly, and in some areas like the NASDAQ or the Qs, the consolidation was 10%, but that's a correction, but not anything more than that. So yeah, the NASDAQ getting 1% bodes well for that last ditch of hope we have for this fall rally to kick into gear. Demand destruction has begun on oil, JP Morgan says. May be headed for another shutdown as the Republican Party tries to figure out who's in charge. Interesting. Another sign the labor market is cooling. The gap between wage gains between job switchers and job stayers is smallest in 3 years. I have never seen that. Has anyone looked at that as an indicator before? I've never looked at that before. The gap between wage gains seen from job switchers and job stayers, which basically means that the labor market's cool. I don't know. Very interesting. But the job openings didn't say cooling. The ADP private payrolls did. Tomorrow we have jobless claims. Well, let's pull it up. So let's go through that. So on Tuesday, we were expecting 8.8 million job openings. We got 9.6. That was like a holy crap, that's great. And everyone's like, that's so great. The Fed doesn't like it, and they sold off. ADP came. Well, now hold on. What am I missing here? I thought I didn't look at the news, but this looks like they exceed expectations. I thought it came in at like 80 something thousand. What am I missing? Did we get discrepancy on job data? And there's nothing about it. There's no ADP even mentioned, which is odd. Someone, let's dive into this as a group. This is a group effort. What does this mean to us? So it looks to me, they don't have links on this right now, or do they? No, they do. Will they let me look at it? Okay, so look, it is 89,000. Way below the forecast. I'm approaching my article limit. Yeah, that's weird. So MarketWatch has the article that they want to charge me for, and yet they give me bad data here. That seems odd. I'm not paying for bad data. I'm not giving you even $1 a week. MarketWatch. Do better. Okay. So ADP came in at 89,000. So that gives a little bit of sluggishness. That's kind of perfect, right? Slowing without slowing, but not deteriorating. There appears to be an error at MarketWatch. Google ADP is right. Okay, that's kind of what I assumed too, Randall. Yeah. So it's the same thing with sales growth, right? And you can't have sales growing and prices falling. That's just not how it works. So people are like, oh, sales are down. Are they? They kind of have to be for inflation to come down, right? That's how it's a funny thing, right? If we can get inflation under control without, and you'll notice it's been a little while, right? It was way back early in the year when there was a little bit of a wave of tech layoffs, right, all at once. But after that, everything was fine, and now tech is poised. They've trimmed their payrolls and thinned the herd. No disrespect to anyone who happened to be a part of the workforce reduction, but that's the way they see it, and it's easier to make money going forward with a lower payroll. So, but we haven't seen anything else. There's no like, oh, layoffs are coming, layoffs. We're not seeing that. The job market stays good. We're a little concerned about Q4. Stop talking. We're talking about the market. This is important. We need to come to some conclusions and make some decisions. SPY. Let's look at it. Oh, so there it is. Trying to make that. Look at up 0.5% now. We said it's got to go. It's got to go now, or it's not going. It's that simple. It's got to go. This has to be the bottom. Now, what are we looking for? Well, quite simply, if we can bust that, even if it only gets to here, I'm okay with that. If it busts it, gets to the same, I'd prefer a little higher, but even if it only gets to there, if you notice, this is Vlad said about 432, I believe, or maybe 434, but that's about that same area. Yeah, we'd love if it could get a little through that, but if it gets there, comes back, just like a little bull flag type thing and does that to me, let's go look at the source for this, the inspiration of this wild idea of ours, is right there. We're thinking this is the first, and then we go up a little bit, and then we pull back and we catch that. That's the second, right? That's that pattern right there. And you'll notice if I were to draw a consolidation, it would sort of catch it in the same way, right? Okay, so hope is not lost yet. We have hope. And don't get me wrong. You should be hoping for the bull market. Can we trade sideways? Can we trade down? We can trade anything. But if you ever go back in time and look at your results and find those periods where you're like, man, I did good here. Woo-wee. Right? And then you look at those periods where you're like, oh, I couldn't trade my way out of a wet paper bag. And then you match those dates up with the market. You look at what the market did. Guess what you're going to find, interestingly enough? You're going to find when you did great, there was a bullish market. I'm not saying this to be like, oh, look, you got to be able to trade it, right? But at the same time, you got to be able to recognize it's not about, we're the blade of grass. We do not impose our will on the lawnmower. Period. So, anyways, MACD turning up. Oh, John is here. Bob is here. Everybody's here. We got the whole crew. It's taco day. I actually ate tacos yesterday. There's this new little taco joint in my hometown. Jurassic Tacos, delicious. Anyways, I got a leftover, so it counts because I'll eat it. Let's go. What else? Okay. Let's get that quiz, shall we? Shan't we? We shall. What did I just do? Oh. Open my to-do list. Okay, let's dig down in. Now, if you remember, we talked a little bit about the opening range. Didn't hold. And I said, if the opening range doesn't hold, I think we're going to test 420, 420 and a half, 420, 60. But then we battled back up above and we held and we busted out of the opening range. I said, if we get out of the opening range, I think 424 to 424 and a half. We're at 424.14, and I think 424 and a half is in range. In fact, I'm an A. I haven't even drawn it yet. I'm going to draw it now. So for A's, it's got to be at or near. A is up here. It's got to stay here. It can't fall back after this big rally. Okay. B's, you get this. Whoa. Oh my gosh. That's a B. I don't know what happened. Let's put parentheses there. I promise I know how to make a B. B. C. Okay. Martine says he's an A. Bob's an A. Scott's an A. John's a C. Says the sellers are going to close this thing down. I don't know. Buyers are coming in. Smash. Look at it now. Just like that. I said we'll get above, at or above 424 and a half or 424.70. Magnificent. Mark's a B. Brad's a B. All right. So we're spread out. Keep those answers coming. Randall's an A. Like I said, small but mighty. This group is small but mighty. If we have the best of the best, I don't care if it's smaller. That's fine with me. Let's see what Stella says. Let's dig on down into the 1 hour chart. She's looking bullish. At 2 o'clock, she says we're going to be at 425. Neutral, but looking for it to get all the way up to 425.04. 425.04. So she's even higher still. This is 424.90. Immediately we retreated from these new highs, like, oh, someone got a little nervous out in front, like, no, you go first. No, you go first. That's the market we have now. Okay. Anyone else getting in it? Did I get everybody? Randall's an A. So John is the only C. He's in line for a solo gold medal, the most valuable kind, of course. All right, let's go look at some other things. What else is there we should discuss? Oh, I know. How about the VIX? Oh, the VIX. Woo! Now that's something right there, right? Like that came all the way back down. I did put a hedge on. The hedge is not doing well. It's not terrible because I got in earlier than the low, but still, I'm okay with that. To be quite honest with you, if I end up having to take a loss on that and I get my bull run, that's a good trade. And I'll take one for the team in that regard. Anyone with me? Anyone else hedging? Let me know. The 405s, November 10s. So yes, November 10s. I got 38 days. It was 31 or 38. So okay. Did we get through everything? I don't think we did. We were jumping around a little bit here. We did see the SPY. Let's look at the QQQ. Flat. But flat, when we used to be down, means momentum is heading higher. It's not all the way up yet, but I feel like, hey, this thing, especially after today, the model's gonna be picking up on this positive price action, right? So we've got something brewing in that regard. The Dow, now, with whatever else has happened, there's a couple of things that haven't happened in this market. We really haven't seen any, other than bonds, we haven't seen any intra-market flights to safety. We haven't seen money moving into gold. We haven't seen money moving into the Dow, to the blue chips. We haven't seen money moving into defensive sectors, utilities, staples, even a little healthcare, right? Money definitely went into some bonds, and the interest rate yields there are quite favorable. Maybe even money going into the dollar. Let's go look at that. This is still impacting us, of course. We would love to see oil continue coming down. We would love to see the dollar get back down into a range. Here's what's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna take this back. Let's go back 2 years. Okay. And when you think about this move here, about 3 months, pretty bullish. Do we see any other 3-month pretty bullish moves? And the answer is yes, we do. See it right here. Very similar in construct, right? Very similar in construct. And it actually started to improve. And then, boy, that was it right there. At that point, we moved well into this bearish market that we had. Not this, that bearish market that we had. And you'll notice that when the dollar finally topped out, started getting this little lower highs, and then it started to fall on its own weight, and it did this. That's when we really started to recover, right? So we're going to be watching this, because if it does come back down here, we're going to think, great. But if it turns and it doesn't really start to do something like that, yeah, we want to make sure that we're paying attention to this, because you can see how much of an impact it can have on stocks if it continues along that line. Here's the Dow looking for a little bump, then a drop. And here is the Russell. Now, the Russell, we would love to see stabilize. Just doesn't really see any signs that that's happening. The model says sideways, but the price action still says it's coming down, right? Still coming down. Here's today's heat map. Is this up to date? Let's just make sure that it is. Energy is getting absolutely demolished, right? Technology looks good. Yeah. Microsoft is doing well. Chips doing well. Over here, Google and Meta, communication service, good. Consumer cyclical. We've got Amazon and Tesla pulling some weight, and everybody down below is following behind. Not great here in the financial banks, but credit's doing pretty well. A lot of financials you can see. Healthcare, not much. Consumer defensive looks okay. Monster beverage, 3%. Yeah, okay. Utilities, not much there. If we get more of this, that's going to help. That's going to help us be more bullish. It's going to help us to see things improving. I'm not sure that we're going to get, let's see if it looks like we're going to get the volume or not. Today, we know we had a volume spike against us yesterday. Yeah, we're just not, right? You can still see the buyers we're just missing the buyers. What are we at right now? We're at 65 million to short. 83 million is where we're going. I mean, we've got 35 minutes and we'd get a ton of volume right in that last 30 minutes, but I still don't think we're going to get there. Martin, okay, very nice. Feeling some bullishness, trying to find that bottom. Got it. There's a case to be made for it without a doubt. Absolutely. Let's take a look at the watch list. My watch list has shrunk to some extent. My watch list has shrunk to some extent because I've been bouncing stocks that are not looking good. Now, some will always remain. Apple. This looks great, right? It held off of this low. If it can get back up to like I'd say minimum 177.5, but I'd like to see it get more like 179. A pullback would do. I don't think we're going to see a breakout, but I think that looks pretty reasonable. I'm rooting. I'm a spectator with Affleck, and I'm rooting for it to do well. AIG. Oh, so AIG was flirting down here around the 200. All of a sudden, it's back above the 100 and looking to see what happens next. The Heiken Ashley is probably going to be a couple of days away. Yeah, right. So you're kind of riding on your own. You don't really have a momentum. I don't think I'm going to do one like that. I like Aflac better. I think this one for me, I want to see it. I want to see it break. I want to see it get above and then come back down. I'll be patient. Amazon making money today, but so a couple of things have this sneaky little, what I think is a sneaky little potential reversal, right? Just it's subtle, but for me, Aflac. It looks like it could. Let's see. So if this one gets a good move tomorrow, because it's in a transition candle here, I think you could. So if you wanted to be patient and you're like, hey, if I get something like this tomorrow, I'm going to take it and put my stop right underneath the previous day's low. And then you're going to be right into a moving your stop situation. And what we're hoping for on something like that is this over here, where you're trying to catch it there. And then as it accelerates, you're just going to be trying to walk your stop up. You know, I don't know, maybe a target at 140. That's about 13 points. Stop loss Oh yeah, you could get that stop at like 124. I think you could risk 3 points. You can do pretty well with Amazon. I'm watching this one tomorrow. I'm watching Amazon. I think this one could sneaky reverse where you're like, wait, what just happened? Sneaky, but not that sneaky. APO still looks feasible to me. Whoops. On the 50, perfectly reasonable. Caterpillar keeps dropping. It's just not much going on in the industrials. CVE. Oh, the oil's getting beat up pretty hard. Bob's making some money on his puts. Would I go 2 weeks on Amazon? Yeah, I'd say that's. I mean, I'd probably go a month and need, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks to trade for 7 to 10 days, something like that. Where was I? I just clicked out of this. Closed TM and HMC. Nice. Well done. Dell. I don't know. I don't know what Dell's doing. The Dow, well, it's trying to stabilize, but not as well as anything else. Flex. Okay, so Flex. Flex, PLTR, NVIDIA are all sort of similar in what they're doing. But you can see we popped, we're pulling back. I mean, this thing looks like it is right there. If I was more bullish, I might take this as a candle entry without worrying about the stochastics, but I'm not, so I'm going to wait and see. But this thing is looking like it could be turning around. So that's on my list. Gold, I mean, come on, man. What is going on with gold? Who has the answers to gold? I don't know. I don't know who it is. Here's IBM. Okay, so isn't it? Here's what you have. You have a trade that's finding some support, right? The lowest point is here. That low was 139.61. Let's say I go 0.5%. That's 70 cents below that. That puts me at 138.90. 138.90 is around here. 138.90 is 0.5% below the lowest point as it holds this support. That means I'm risking $2.15, $2.15. For me to get a 3-to-1, I need 147 if that's the case. That's right here. I don't even need a higher high. I get 2-to-1 at the old low. I get 3-to-1 at this point here. So sometimes it's not necessarily how convinced you are that it's definitely going up, but you like the parameters of the trade if it does, right? Does that make sense? So anyway, yeah. I think IBM is on the list. It should be considered. Intel, I shut her down half yesterday, the other half today, and I figured I got what I was going to get. Looks like it's rolling over. Made a little piece. Kind of a similar thing to IBM, where it was a great reward to risk. I thought, hey, it doesn't even have to get to the old high. I was only looking for 37.50. It didn't even get that. It did okay, though, right? Did okay. IWM got that nice hammer. But look how it's just kind of nasty in here, right? It's just kind of, whoops. We've got this pretty steep consolidation. Same high, higher low type of a thing. Now, again, what I want you to recognize is that this is an inverted head and shoulders, this pattern that I draw. I'm just looking for it to break the consolidation and then have a higher low. But if you look, shoulder, head, shoulder, Now, I'm not waiting for it to break the neckline. That's another distinction. Is I'm saying once I get the higher low, I think that the situation has changed enough that if I get a good reward to risk, I'm going to expect it to break the neckline. Now, if it gets to the neckline and it starts to stall, am I going to sell half, tighten my stop, and make sure I don't, waste away the trade? Yes. But when you think, oh, higher low, let's go. Like, oh, it's so simple. There's several. That higher low could be a bull flag. It could be a an inverted head and shoulders. It could be a very close proximity to a double bottom. But I need this, or I have nothing here. There's nothing here but lower lows and lower highs and selling sentiment. So let's be patient. Okay. Whoops. JP Morgan. JP Morgan is down at new lows, kind of just drifting. Yeah, it's off the list. If on this Sunday, the sector rotation analysis that I do shows financials picking up because of some of this week's activity, I'm going to reassess it and say, hey, let's find, maybe it's Visa and MasterCard. Maybe it's Bank of America. Maybe it's, right, as we look at the heat map, it could be in here. It could be data exchanges, the SIBO, the NASDAQ, Moody's. It could be, well, we have AIG and Aflac in there, in insurance for life, insurance brokers, property and casualty, Progressive. I mean, who knows? Goldman, Morgan. Merrill's in here, I believe. So, but let's be flexible and open to new potential opportunities that are developing. Where was I? Oh yeah, kicking JP Morgan off the island. Meta. It looks all right. It looks like it's trying to pick up. You know what should be on the list here? I thought I put it on the other day. It was Google. I swear I put it on the list. Google, right? It got kind of beat up right through here, right in this little bounce. And it got down. Now, that's actually viable. Actually, we should have had this on the list because that was a viable signal right there. That was a higher low. This is an example of where you can see the stochastics did this little thing and it went up and pulled back. And then it just sort of, was the trend still intact based on this? Yeah, absolutely. Google's strong. We should be on our list. Communication services, doing well, picking up. Meta, possibly. I would like to see Meta. This is not one I traded because I just feel like it's kind of basing. So I'd like to see it get up to like 320, and then the next time I'll catch it if it's a higher low. That's it. That is it. All I'm looking for. It's not much. I don't feel like I'm asking for too much. Microsoft trying to the sneaky reverse. The sneaky reverse. Watch out. It's trying to come. Look for that. So you can see there's a few different patterns, maybe a few more than we're used to right now. But it's not like there's anything that just is like, oh, this is the only thing that looks like that. No, they all have different looks and feels. But this one, this sneaky reversal in technology, that's nice. This is one that we've seen across other chips and or AI stocks. So as this comes down, looking for that to turn, most definitely. PLTR, same thing, right? If I was more bullish from my posture, I would be like, you know what? This thing is like a maybe, but I'm going to be patient and wait to get a more confirmed signal just in case it comes down again. Here's the cues. We might actually even we have some time. I'm gonna run a search or two, maybe. Well, let's go look at the financials and communication services and see if we can't find something out of there. Technology, I feel like we have some good things. We could run it there too. Okay. SPY. Oh, yeah. Look at us go. Look at us go. 20 minutes left. Buyers are pushing it on up. Looks pretty good. We'll see if it comes back or not. I don't know, John. The solo A doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Here is Tesla. Look at Tesla accelerating. This is where we had talked about it. Whoops, that's not where we talked about it. This is where we talked about it. Right there. Nice in. Still could have caught it here, we said too, and then it pulled back, and now it's catching, right? So, I think next stop might be all the way up into this area. You might not have time before it pulls back. Actually, I think you would. What day is this? Well, maybe. Tesla's earnings are October 18th. October 18th. How far are we from earnings season? By the way, Alcoa. Oh, gosh, it's right around the corner. It's right around the corner. That means we're going to have financials in here. 15th, 16th? It's got to be, right? BAC. 17th. Citigroup. 13th. That's probably so. Right, the 13th through the 17th. That's pretty early. That's just a few. I think just mostly a few financials that have kind of moved into that leading position. By the following week after that, which is the 19th, by the 18th. That is not far, right? So a week from Friday kicks off the 13th, 16th, 17th. And then on Wednesday, the 18th, boom, earnings season is full board. So we shift away from jobs and inflation for a minute to think, is corporate America holding up its end to support a growing? A lot of people have brought up concerns about S&P 500 valuations right now. I don't know where we are. Obviously, they've come in line, or they've gotten a little better just with this. I'm not going to call it a correction, but it was pretty close. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, let's run a couple searches. I've got it up. Here. If anyone ever wants to this is just a real basic but effective search. So I'm going to put this in the chat. Paste, send to all. Okay, so I sent this message to everybody. This is this search here. What does it have? Let's start on technicals. Two things: price above the 50-day, price above the 200-day. So the expectation is that I'm hopefully going to find uptrending stocks. Yeah. Descriptively, I want stocks that trade at least 2 million shares per day. I want stocks that are optionable and shortable. I want stocks that are over $10 per share. Now, in June, July, when we ran this, we would find 350, 400 stocks that met the criteria. And then we'd go into the sectors and be able to narrow it down into a more workable list. Just to give you a sense of where you're like, if someone's like, man, I'm strongly bullish markets produce lots of good candidates. This is not strongly bullish. I only have 65 candidates of the whole list. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So do I need to do sector searching? I always want to, but I probably won't need to go to the industry level. So if I went to the next step, technology, when there was 450, I might end up with 60 stocks, 50 stocks just in the technology sector. So if that's the case, then I go to the industry group and I go one at a time and only pick one, maybe two of the best from any given group. But right now you'll notice that's not the case. I've got one page. Oh, I have 2 pages. How many's on each page? 15? 15. I've got 18 technology stocks that meet my criteria. 18. SPLK gapped up. This looks like maybe an acquisition. So if it just sits and grinds and grinds and grinds, I have to think. Let's see if I'm right. SPLK. Is SPLK getting acquired? If anyone knows anything about it. You should eliminate leveraged DTFs. Yes, Cisco. Okay, there you go. Cisco Splunk deal closed its acquisition with Splunk, acquiring the company for $28 billion. Okay. Well done, Mark, with your answer first. Who was it? Intel bot? I don't know. Okay, so what does that mean? It means it's not a candidate. There's no candidacy if it's acquisition. So when you see something gap up and then just go sideways, that's probably what it means there. Is there anything that we do like, though? We like Flex, SMCI. That was one that we were watching. I'm going to put it back on the list. That one can move. Was SMCI had good options, right? Or was it not good? I don't remember. I'm putting it on. Back on the list. CrowdStrike looks pretty good again. Yeah, CrowdStrike. Let's put Crowd on there. I'm always good to watch the CrowdStrike. We have Dell, Western Digital, not terrible. Infosys, that's got a nice little pullback and turn. I mean, that almost looks like a trading signal right there. We have Intel. We don't have Palo Alto. I don't know, kind of meandering down this way. Micron, I'm going to say no. I'm going to come back and look at Infosys. Oh, I have 20. Sorry, I have 20. I thought I only had 18. 20. Oh, that one's twice. No. Ploven Corp. That's interesting. That's interesting. We were watching Arista. I remember when S was the symbol for Sprint. Now it's Sentinel 1. Sentinel 1. That sounds like the name of a robot that overtakes its human creators to rule them. Sentinel 1. Let me see. What were we thinking? Infosys. Maybe, I mean, I don't know if it has great options. I don't know. I'm going to say no to that one for me. Okay, we got a couple of new things, a couple of old friends back on the list. Let's go take a look at now. I should eliminate leveraged ETFs like dust. That's a hard one on this thing. What's interesting is if I go to financials, that's where the ETFs show up, leveraged or not, on this search. So you'll see dust is 2 times gold. Owl is blue owl. I thought that was something. Maybe not. There's Tesla bull 1.5 times. Ultra short Dow. China. Biotech bear. I don't want those for financials. When I'm looking at financials, I actually just want to see financial companies. So I will come over here and I'll say stocks only, no funds, no exchange traded funds. And you'll notice that when I do that, I only get 5. We're already watching Aflac. We're already watching APO. That looks quite strong here. That's not only on our list, but one we've identified as a candidate. Western Union, Progressive. We said we might like Progressive as an insurer. It broke out, pulled back. Here, just so you can kind of see, it did give us the classic pattern that we tend to look for. This was the you can't see that line. Let's go green. John is selling all his SPY stock. This is coming down. And it busted up out of it. Boop, new high. Boom, boom. That's the trade that we're always looking for right there. Then what? Made a move up, pulling back, maybe giving another one. Okay, let's put it on the list. PGR, you're welcome to sit at the table with the big boys, Aflac and AIG. PGR has been added. Great. What was another one we said? Communication services. CNK. Now we've got 6. Google, it's our list. Meta, it's already on our list. TDS, I don't like. ATVI. Did this one get bought by somebody? ATVI? I think someone bought ATVI. But you can see the deal hasn't closed yet. Way back here. Cinemark. Microsoft bought ATVI. Nice. Mark knows all the deals. Mark knows all the M&A action happening in the market. I don't see anything new here, quite honestly. Let's look at the cyclicals. 10 stocks to choose from. We have WRK. We actually kicked this off. This wasn't doing much. Mobley, no. Tesla's on our list. Riven, no. Capri Holdings, no. I don't like any of these. I don't see anything new in there. Is there any basic material stocks we look at and can't trade without? Nah, CF doesn't look terrible, but no. Healthcare stocks. CBay? No. Excelsis? Well, there's some chop through here. Any new industrials that we think look good? I mean, you can see Picard looks just like Caterpillar and CPRT. VRT did all right. Healthcare looks horrible as an overall. A lot of them do right now, unfortunately. None of these really look that strong. Fluor, no. I feel like if it's bullish, we have it. If it's bullish and has some liquidity, it's on our list. Healthcare, industrials. Ooh, how about real estate? Sabra Healthcare Real Estate Investment Trust. It's a $3 billion company, so it's not very big. It's not going to have much by way of volume, that's for sure. We did technology. I'll tell you what, we just scoured the whole damn market. Utilities, Vista. What is this? Vista Corp. Vistra Corp. The sector is terrible. That's kind of an interesting stock, right? Like, what are they doing? I mean, I feel like it kind of topped itself out, pulled back, tried to go, and then smashed. So, to be perfectly honest with you, at this point, and if you notice, if you're an Elliott Wave person, from when it accelerated, we really kind of had like these 1, 2, 3 big moves. 1, 2, 3, right? And it just sort of meandered and then it kind of failed. So I feel like this is the first. There may be a second one bringing it on back down. And because it has kind of a shark frenzy about it, right? 24 to 34, 10. I mean, that's a 40% move. Call it so I can hang my head in the corner, John says. Oh, hey, you can't score if you don't shoot. Let's go see what's going on. All right. Well, that was good. I mean, if nothing else, we can realign and make sure we are looking at the right things. Semiconductors should be coming. I agree. Semiconductors, software, AI, tech. And if that can get going and we can see communication services again, we know those two can lead us out. They did it they did it earlier this year. They can do it again. That's what I'm, kind of watching and waiting for. Okay, let's go get these gold medals. See what's cracking here. Alcoa is trying to go into a reversal, just so you know. If you're into aluminum stocks, kind of doing this kind of a consolidation. And we busted out of it. Look at that. Even a couple of days of volume. Does it hold? Basic materials could be coming back. You heard it here first. I'm just kidding. SPY. Yes. Well, I'll tell you, Stella's nailing it again. She said 425.05. She's right there. I agree. I said 424.5 is where I thought, and it just kind of went right through that and kept on going. Yeah, A's. Whoops. That's not what it was supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like that. A's, well done. We did it. Fantastic day for all of us. Joined late. Wonderful Wednesday to you, Dennis. Wonderful Wednesday to you. I'll be here tomorrow morning. So if we end with buying, let's see if we start with buying tomorrow. So we'll meet tomorrow morning. We'll meet Friday morning. And we'll see. Do we get this little possible starting point of a bull rally? I'm hoping. I'm gonna do a little dance, a little market dance tonight, possibly. Anyways, all right, everyone. Thanks for coming and hanging out. It's good to see you. I'll catch you in the morning. Happy trading.